Okay. For about 8 or 9 years, I taught at NYU. I taught at Columbia before that for 8 or 9 years, but they threw me out when I married one of my students, who I later divorced. So let me tell you, don't marry a student. But after that, I went to NYU, and I taught there for about 8 years until they threw me out. I had a very popular course. I started at 26 people, and by the time I finished 8 years later, I had 350 students in the class, which was pretty good. The reason that I left, or they asked me to leave, was that I used to start every class each year by telling the students to go back to the bursar's office, get their money back, use the money to buy a camera. Today, of course, you can use an iPhone, buy a plane ticket, and before you left, I would teach them how to make professional quality video and films in about 4 days. Some of them actually took me up on it. The rest ignored it, but that was fine. The reason I did that was because to spend years and years going to film school is an utter waste of money. I was quite astonished to see that NYU now charges $93,000. That's their projected cost per year to go to NYU Film School, and that's a 3-year program, so that's about $285,000 that you're going to spend to get a piece of paper that says you know how to make films, which is never going to get you a job anywhere anyway. Everybody thinks they're going to end up to be Martin Scorsese. I don't think so. That doesn't mean that you can't make a living making videos and films. A lot of people who've gone with us have made livings. So this experience at NYU and seeing this pornographic amount of money that these people are charging to give an education is what motivated us, among other things, to launch the VJ.com, our online film school, or of course our 4-day boot camps, which are starting on Wednesday. So as I said to the students, I can teach you, I can teach anybody how to do this in 4 days if you just pay attention and do what I tell you to do. The whole educational industry is ripe for a kind of digital revolution, a disruptive event to come along like Jeff Bezos is going to do with the food business now that he bought Whole Foods. So education is a criminal waste of money, professional education. And when I went to Williams College, it was a long time ago, tuition was $6,000 a year, and that included room and board and everything else. And I think for my old man that was a lot of money. Today it's $68,000 times 4 years is about $280,000 to get a piece of paper which essentially says you've been educated here. Well, what the hell can you do with that piece of paper? The video business and the film business are actually a place where you can actually make a living and make money and make a substantial amount of money if you get lucky with some cable show or something like that, but you can always make an income. At the end of the day, nobody in the television or film business gives a crap where you went to school. What they want to see is the stuff that you put on the screen. And so we can teach you how to put great stuff on the screen using your iPhone. We've taught 20 or 30, maybe 50,000 people at this point how to do this. And that's the other reason we launched the school, the online film school, because it's $14.95 a month or $149 a year, which is a hell of a lot less than $93,000 for a year, and it won't take you 3 years with the VJ.com, the online film school, unless you're a complete idiot, to learn how to do this. You should be able to pick the whole thing up in a couple of months if you pay attention and follow the rules. I read in this Rise of the Robots book, which is a fantastic book I'm just about finished with, that there's now an overhang of $1.2 trillion in outstanding student debt from people who've borrowed so they can go to 4-year colleges or film school or stuff like that. They go into debt for $270,000 in debt when you're going to be a film student is an act of insanity. The terrible thing about student loans is you can't get out of them. I mean, the housing bubble, which apparently was the same size as this, if not smaller, the housing bubble, at least you walked away from the house and the bank took the house back and you didn't have a house. In terms of student loan, you can never get out of it. Even bankruptcy doesn't get you out of it. So the fact that these private universities are encouraging people to go to banks and borrow hundreds of thousands of dollars is absolutely, positively reprehensible. People are going to be, listen to me, if you're 18 years old, you're going to be crushed for the rest of your life. Do not do that. Do not do that. The reason we launched the online Film and Video School, the VJ.com, which I urge you to go take a look at, is specifically to counter this kind of a reprehensible behavior on the part of professional film schools and journalism schools and places like that. There is no reason to pay that kind of money to pick up the necessary skills to get an opening in this growing and expanding profession. If you get into this business, and I hope you will, we've had a good time with it, and we've had a lot of successful graduates, you will live and die, you will be judged entirely by what you put on the screen. Nobody gives a crap if you studied the theory of film, nobody gives a crap if you know the history of Michael Haneke, nothing personal, and nobody gives a crap whether you wrote a paper, you have that sheepskin, nobody even wants to look at it. All I want to know is, here's a camera, what can you do with it? And if you can make great stuff with a camera or an iPhone, and you can put great stuff on the screen, particularly if you can do it by yourself, then trust me, there's a profession and there's a living and there's a great opportunity for you here. But do not go to film school. Do not go to journalism school. Do not waste your money. I'm sorry, I don't want to bite the hand that feeds me, but at $93,000 a year for 3 or 4 years, that is just absolutely, positively criminal. Let's do the whole thing online, and let's do it for $14.95 a month. And that's all I got to say for today. So if you've got an opinion on this, post it or email me. I'll talk to you tomorrow, maybe. See you later.